Have you ever wanted to grow a black walnut tree from the nut? Fall is a great time of year to find people that just want to get rid of their black walnuts because they have too many. And that's exactly what I did. I went to Facebook Marketplace and found somebody giving away buckets of black walnuts. How cool is that? Stay tuned. We'll go through this right now. So what I did is I brought them home and we shucked them or took all the green part off to get just to this basic nut. Then I had my husband build a box and we're going to plant them today. So because I got these, I think in September, so it's been about a month ago I got them, and then we husked them, and they were full. The husk was full of the maggot that comes with the walnut. That's a normal part of the process, and it will eat the husk and soften it on the outside. And then you're left with the nut. But I moved it off. It is just a real gross process. Not for the faint of heart, because they were like full of maggots. But it should be fine as long as the shell wasn't compromised. And then what I did is I put all of them in a bucket of water to see which ones floated, and I discarded those. All of the rest of these, there's a couple hundred of them, I think, in this container. If you can see them all. I packed them in this container with some pine bark mulch, put a lid on it, and put it on the north side of the building just to try to keep them hydrated. I didn't want them drying out. And so right now is the time for us to plant. So what I had my husband do is build this air prune bed to make sure that we can get really strong root systems on these. And I'm going to pack these in really, really tight. So this is just leftover wood we had laying around, and then some cinder blocks. Cinder blocks are on the bottom, and then he tacked this hardwire cloth onto the bottom of the frame that he built. Again, just an old 2x6, it looks like, that we had left over from another project. And then I filled it with pine bark fines, which was I think a 9312. I'll put another little clip in to show you what they are. I got them from Menards, which I've been using for potting my trees. It works really, really well. It should be a great medium. And then what we'll do is we'll put this hardwire cloth on in the end. So let's get these things planted. So you want to make sure you're wearing gloves when handling these, because otherwise your hands will turn black. And I'm just going to lay these in here across and see how many I get. And like I said, I'll top it with some other mulch. If I wanted to go a little bit deeper, I could probably dibble it with like one of these. Maybe I'll do half of them where I dibble. And so I live in zone 4 outside of Minneapolis. And I don't think these will even come up until June. I won't get to see them. But that'll be fun to see how many I get, what my yield is, and how they look and how the root system looks using an air pruning bed. The tips of the roots will hit that air or hit through the end of the mesh and be open to the atmosphere. And it will cause it to what they call root prune, and it will make it branch out and bud back. The tip will die. And then the side branching on the root system will be created, and it makes for a much better root system going forward. I think I had a couple hundred left. I didn't have any issues getting a pretty high yield. I think we lost less than 5%. I originally dumped the whole lot in here thinking that would be simpler, but I decided against it, and that's why you see me repotting them now. I'm going to keep potting them up. So black walnut trees are pretty coveted for the hardwood. When I was processing these trees and I saw the maggots on there, I was pretty grossed out. But I had rubber gloves on, and even though I had the rubber gloves on, they were covered in maggots, which was just really gross. Did not like that at all. I don't think this bed's going to be big enough. I might plant them trees even closer. I'm not worried about the root systems tangling so much. I just want to try to get them all in here. I don't think I'm going to. But we'll find out. Crazy. So I'll just space them like this for right now. We'll see how many I've got left. Again, I got these for free, and then my husband used kind of scrap wood he had laying around, and we had blocks left over from a different project. And I think that worked pretty good. Wow. So I've got all of those laid in there. I think I'm going to dig out the rest of these and maybe see how many I got left. And maybe we need a whole nother bin. So I counted everything out. I roughly have 100 in this box, and I've got 175 more that need to be planted. So I need 2 more at a minimum boxes. So I'll have to have my husband get some more materials. I think we need more of the hardware cloth. So when I counted, I put them in it. I pulled the rest of the black walnuts out and put them in this 2-gallon pot just to keep them separated. There's 175, I think, in here. So yeah, I need 2 more of those beds. Who'd have thunk it? The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it with a little bit heavier pine bark. If I can get it open. With some pine bark, some bigger pine bark. I'm just going to lay a really heavy layer. I'm going to put a heavy layer on top here, and then we'll put that mesh back on we'll put the mesh back on to keep the rabbits out. So here, I'm putting the rest of that mulch on top just to make a nice thick layer. And then very carefully, I'm going to lay this hardware cloth over the top, and we'll have to probably tack it down. To make it fit. We'll probably tack it on the side so the squirrels don't come up, or the mice don't come up on the side of it. So I'll have them tack it, maybe put a piece of wood on top, like a furring strip, just to make sure it stays down. So if this video is helpful, give us a thumbs up so YouTube knows to share this content with others. Also consider subscribing so you don't miss any of our other great videos. If you like how-to videos, check this playlist next. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great day.